Welcome to the 2020 MSA Awards ceremony, the first ever virtual event of its kind. Normally, only those of us who attend the MSA luncheon at the annual GSA meeting are able to hear the citations and the acceptance speeches. Now, thanks to the wonders of Zoom and the internet, these are accessible to everyone. And since the ceremony will be recorded and posted on the MSA website, you can watch more than once. I want to send special thanks to our awardees, both for their patience over the past year while the ceremony was postponed due to the pandemic, and also for their time in recording their parts in advance to make the virtual event go seamlessly. First, we'll recognize our 2020 MSA Fellows. MSA members who have contributed significantly to the advancement of mineralogy, crystallography, geochemistry, or petrology may be designated as fellows upon proper accreditation by the Committee on Nomination for Fellows and election by the Council. The number of fellows elected each year cannot exceed 0.5% of the MSA membership, so this is a rare honor indeed. Our 10 new MSA Fellows for 2020 are Jeffrey Cantillano, Sylvie Demushi, Hoopa Gilbert, Junichi Kimura, Otmar Muntner, Mark Norman, Allison Polly, Mark Rivers, Ian Swainson, and Takashi Yoshino. The Mineralogical Society of America Award is intended to recognize outstanding published contributions to the science of mineralogy by relatively young individuals near the beginning of their professional careers. The work must have been accomplished either before reaching the age of 35 or within 7 years of the awarding of the terminal degree. Our 2020 MSA awardee is Dr. Jin Liu, a staff scientist at the Center for High Pressure Science and Technology Advanced Research in Beijing. He obtained his PhD degree in mineral physics from the University of Texas at Austin in 2015 and worked as a postdoctoral research fellow at Stanford University from 2015 to 2018. His research involves probing the behavior of deep interiors of Earth and planetary bodies. Jin Liu was nominated by MSA Life Fellow Dave Mao, who wrote, Dr. Jin Liu has made a series of breakthroughs on one of the most central problems in deep Earth science, the interaction between the oxide mantle and the iron core at the core mantle boundary near 130 gigapascals. Applying state-of-the-art synchrotron X-ray technology to high-pressure studies, he unraveled the enigmas of the ultra-low velocity zone above the core mantle boundary. He discovered the altered chemistry of iron and oxygen in hydrogen-bearing iron peroxide by X-ray absorption, emission, and inelastic spectroscopies. This unexpected chemistry revolutionized our understanding of the deep water cycle and iron-water reactions. He determined the light element partitioning between iron, metal, and oxides at core pressures based on iron isotope fractionation using synchrotron nuclear resonant inelastic scattering. Thanks to Dr. Liu's high pressure efforts, our knowledge of the core mantle boundary has made great strides forward. His contribution and scientific accomplishment in mineral physics are truly impressive and second to none at such an early stage of his career. So Dr. Liu, we send you our warmest congratulations on being named our 2020 MSA Awardee. The MSA Dana Medal is intended to recognize sustained outstanding scientific contributions through original research in the mineralogical sciences by an individual in the midst of his or her career. The Dana Medal is named in honor of both James Dwight Dana and Edward Salisbury Dana for their contributions to the science of mineralogy. For 2020, it is a real pleasure to award the Dana Medal to Daniela Rubatto. Now, Sumit Chakraborty will give the citation.
President Frost, members of the MSA Council, dear friends. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Professor Daniela Rubatto from the University of Bern in Switzerland. Determining the timing and duration of events is one of the central objectives in the geosciences. With the advent of technologically sophisticated tools, it is now possible to determine these with increasingly higher resolution. However, interpreting what the dates mean is a challenge. The field of petrochronology has emerged to address some of these questions. Daniela Rubatto has been one of the pioneers in the field, and she has been instrumental in the development in all its facets, from developing methods to applications in diverse settings. Two of the most commonly used mineralogical systems are garnets and zircons, and these have reached that status largely as a result of the work of Daniela. She has traveled to field areas in all corners of the world to seek out research problems to work on. What you see here in the background is a picture from the Himalayas in Sikkim, where I had the good fortune to work with her in the area. One of the many major findings from her work, for example, is the demonstration that metamorphic processes occur at rates comparable to those of the modern motion of tectonic plates. Daniela's passion for science comes across most palpably in her interactions with students and postdocs, and there are a large number of them. She has worked with international teams all through her career, and these young scientists have benefited from exposures that they got at the early stages of their careers. Daniela is a very active member of our community in her role as a reviewer, as an editor, or as a conference organizer. And she has done all of these with an exemplary work-life balance in a very feasible dual career partnership. Daniela Rubatto is undoubtedly one of the leading metamorphic geochemists of our times, and it is my privilege to present to you as a Dana Medal Awardee of the year 2020.
Good morning or good afternoon to all of you, wherever you are. I'm here in my office in Bern, on a rainy day, trying to record a certain speech for Dana Medalist. It is not an easy task. It would be much easier to be in a crowded room with a lot of colleagues. Still, acknowledgement are due. And first of all, I would like to warmly thank the MSA, the committee, and those colleagues that put forward and supported my nomination. Receiving a medal brings up many feelings and many thoughts. First of all, it's a sense of honor, but also a sense of responsibility and encouragement to continue to do research and try even better than before in the long path that is a scientific career. A scientific career is a complex recipe and a combination of many factors, and certainly requires hard work, but also has a component of serendipity. And it critically depends on the colleagues one meets and the opportunity one gets offered. I have been very lucky to always find along my journey excellent expertise and advanced facility to support whatever research I wanted to do, from dating minerals with the SIMS to measuring trace element with the laser ablation experiments or conducting experiments with piston cylinders. I'm well aware that my journey would have been very different and probably much shorter without the many colleagues who guided me in the field and in the lab, who were there to troubleshoot, to offer explanation and constructive discussion. I do not have time to name them all, but many, if not all of them, deserve a medal. Special mention has to go to the many of the research students I had the pleasure to supervise. Seeing them learn, grow, and become scientists has always been a great motivation in my career. They all deserve this medal too. I call this a vote to Dana Medal because I received it in the mail a few weeks ago rather than a nice ceremony in GSA. The pandemic has limited not only our physical mobility, but the creativity of many of us. And I truly look forward to meet colleagues and the people who nominated me for this award in person for another scientific discussion very soon. Thanks again for this award and take care.
Thank you. The Roebling Medal is the highest award of the Mineralogical Society of America and is given for scientific eminence as represented primarily by scientific publication of outstanding original research in mineralogy. The medal is named in honor of Colonel Washington A. Roebling, engineer, bridge builder, mineral collector, and significant friend of the Society. The list of past Roebling medalists is a veritable who's who in mineralogy and petrology, and the 2020 awardee certainly enhances the collective accomplishment of that amazing group of scientists. The 2020 Roebling Medal goes to Andrew Putnis. Mike Hochella will give the citation.
Ladies and gentlemen, leadership and members of the MSA, and all mineralogists, petrologists, and geochemists who are with us today. I've been asked to keep this short, and I will respect that. Allow me to start by saying that Andrew Putnis is one of the most influential mineralogists in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. I and so many others are truly fortunate to have discussed with him at length and over the decades the mineralogical sciences and their applications. In the process, he has touched so many of us, young and old, directly and indirectly, in deeply profound ways. I have often thought why this is so, and from his many years at Cambridge University, the University of Münster in Germany, and Curtin University in Australia, with his wife, Professor Christine Putnis. From that long-term perspective, I know that the reason is the sheer brilliance and applicability of his work, which spans thermodynamics, mineralogy, petrology, crystallography, experimental and instrumental science, and even field geology. And like all world-class scientists, it stems not only from his considerations, suggestions, and his incredibly extensive writings, but also from his doubts and questions. Andrew is not afraid of these latter things, nor his framework of knowing that he may not be seeing the entire picture, or that he is on an island while the great majority of others are just elsewhere, and he respects that process. His leadership has been in the realm of mineral microstructures and nanostructures, as well as phase transformations, order, disorder, solid solution, solid state X solution, and TEM used for all its insight. And his leadership also covers mineral surface reactions, primarily applied to mineralization and dissolution at interfaces, along with Christine, who is also world-class in this area. And finally, Andrew's crowning achievements, mineral replacement reactions, how porosity is generated, fluid-induced mechanisms of deformation, and minor and trace element distribution. All this has resulted in a remarkable array of publications, lectures, and his classic book, Introduction to Mineral Sciences, which is cited just as many times these days as it was 3 decades ago. What I find most remarkable is that his most cited papers are all first authored by Andrew, accounting for over 3,000 citations. And Andrew's most cited single paper was published nearly 20 years ago as a single authored publication in Mineralogical Magazine, entitled Mineral Replacement Reactions from Microstructure Observations to Macroscopic Mechanisms. Of its nearly 1,000 citations to date, this paper was very well cited in its first decade, but in its second decade, the citation rate has gone up over 30%, meaning, of course, that this paper was far ahead of its time. Andrew, all those years ago, understood coupled dissolution precipitation, thinking about porosity generation, fluids, and relative solubilities of mineral components, fully challenging the accepted thoughts of the day. The phrase paradigm shift is overused and misused, but this is clearly one of those cases where paradigm shift is the proper descriptor. Andrew, over time, has literally changed the frame of our thinking. Allow me to conclude by sending personal thanks to, in alphabetical order, Jay Agu of Yale, Bjorn Jartveit of the University of Oslo, Jin Liu of Stanford, Hugh O'Neill of ANU and Monash University, and Ian Parsons of the University of Edinburgh, and for providing incredibly strong support letters. And finally, Andrew, for this most magnificent and well-deserved honor, the Roebling Medal of the Mineralogical Society of America, congratulations.
Now, Andrew will give his acceptance address.
Thank you very much, Mike, for the very generous citation and also for all the support you've given me over many years. It's a terrific honor to have been even nominated for the Roebling Medal, and I thank those who also supported the nomination. And even a bigger surprise to me to have been chosen. When Mickey Gunter phoned me in 2019, I was actually with Mike and Barbara, perhaps a coincidence or perhaps not, in Kalgoorlie, which is a mining town in Australia. At first, I didn't understand what the phone call was about, and I thought perhaps Mickey was reminding me that I'd forgotten to pay my MSA dues. Anyway, my interest in geoscience actually coincided with my interest in Christine, who was a geology student at the University of Newcastle in Australia when I was studying physics. And when we both moved to London, I had the opportunity to start again, in a way, with an undergraduate degree in geology at Birkbeck College, which was a great place because it gave opportunities to people like me who were teaching during the day and wanting to study at night to continue. And so I did that for 4 years and then gave up school teaching and moved to Cambridge to do a PhD with Desmond McConnell. Desmond used to say that if you understood feldspar minerals, you understood all mineral processes, which is kind of true in a way, although in Cambridge at that time, that meant solid state phase transformations. It was Ian Parsons who actually opened my eyes to fluid mineral interactions and how the textures that we see in minerals and in rocks are largely influenced by fluids and recrystallization processes. And so when I moved to Münster in Germany, I had the opportunity and the facilities to get into that kind of research. And then I met the crowd from Oslo University, Björn Jartveit and Håkon Austerheim, who introduced me to the fantastic metamorphic geology of the west coast of Norway. And for 10 years and more, I've been working more or less in that area. I've been extremely lucky in my career to have had the opportunities, the support at home, to go to conferences and to meet all the people who influenced my research direction over many years. Once again, I'm grateful to the MSA committee for this very prestigious award, which I accept with great thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, that concludes the 2020 MSA Awards ceremony. Many congratulations to all of our awardees, and our thanks to all of you who've attended wherever you are in the world. We greatly appreciate your support of MSA. Thanks and goodbye.